there, welcome back to Beauty Bee and to the third video that I am filming today. So if I seem a little loopy, it's because I am. I've been talking to myself in a room with no one else here for about an hour at this point. Today we are going to be doing an update to my Pan Those Eyeshadows. Here is the little 9-pan palette that I pulled together for last month. The way that I approach this project is that I randomly select 4 shades. My goal on each of these shades is to hit 10 uses and or pan. Whichever one of those goals gets hit first, hint, it's always been 10 uses in this project. I roll it out. I also select 5 other shades from my collection to build out a palette. I find that this makes it a little bit easier for me to use my Pan Those eyeshadows because I have already put the thought into what shades in my collection would go well with them, and I'm not trying to scramble and figure out how to work in a coral matte into my eyeshadow look at 6:45 in the morning. So here is the palette that I have been working on for the past month. I do film a look using my Pan Those eyeshadows every month, and I will link this past month's up in the cards. But here's what we had to work with. The 4 shades that were in the project this month were this white. This is from the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. This coral matte, the aforementioned coral matte shade that I don't really know what to do with. This is again from ColourPop. I believe it's from the Miss Bliss palette. This purple shade from Viseart is from the Viseart Petite Pro 2, I believe. And then I have this blue, again from ColourPop. This has a little bit of glitter to it, but it really does behave like a pretty standard matte. And this is from their In a Trance palette. Progress towards that 10 use mark. I have used the matte blue 10 times, so it will be rolling out. That's probably not too much of a surprise. I had this in last month as well, and I think I was sitting at like 7 or 8 in the last update. So I actually rolled this out quite a while ago, but I've used it a couple of times since hitting my 10 use goal. It is a really pretty shade. It's not necessarily a super wearable, easy everyday shade for me, but I do like it. The other shade that I will be able to roll out this month is the white. I mostly used this as a brow bone highlight. I would mix it with this sort of rosy light shade from Viseart. I found that the white by itself was sometimes a little too stark on my brow, but with that light pink, I thought it looked really nice. And that one I have used 10 plus a few times as well. The other 2 shades that will not be rolling out are the orange. I rolled this in the last update, and I have 6 uses on it currently. And the purple, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought I'd use this a little bit more, but I like the orange. Rolled this in the last update, and I've only used this 5 times. I think I just assumed that I knew what I was doing with the purple and thought that it would be such an easy shade to use that I forgot to actually use it. Have any of you been in that position before? Anyway, I think, again, it should be a relatively easy shade to use, and with my current usage on both the purple and the orange shades, I am on track to have them rolled out in next month's update. So let's get to the fun part of this video, which is picking my new shades. I have an Excel spreadsheet that contains all of the eyeshadows that are eligible to be pulled into this project. So for me, that is anything that I can easily put into that magnetic palette. So singles that are in little magnetic pans, as well as palettes that I can quite easily pop shades in and out of. So for me, that's Lorac, Viseart, and ColourPop. So, just hit my microphone. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. I have 2 shades to pull this month. So I'm going to go with my rand array function. I currently have 202 shades to pull from. So, oh, come back. And the shades that I get are 29 and 177. So, shade 29 is going to come from my Viseart Petite Pro 2. I actually think that this might be making so much noise. I was going to say I think it might be this shade, but no, this is actually from Petite Pro 3. So, I'm interested to see what the equivalent shade in the Petite Pro 2 is. Shade 177 is going to be from ColourPop Play It Jewel. So I'm going to go pull those shades, put away the shades in here that I will not be working on in the next month, and just build out my palette. And we'll regroup in just a few. Hopefully it will not take me too long to decide what I want, and we can go through my selections. I have returned and I come bearing eyeshadow. So the two shades that I pulled were from the Viseart Petite Pro 2, which is this rosy pink shade. This is super pretty, super appropriate for springtime. I think it's beautiful. I think it'll play really nicely with that purple. And I also pulled this orange shade. Again, but I said again. This one's from ColourPop. It is kind of a deeper reddish orange. This is from the Play It Jewel palette. And let me swatch the 4 shades that I will be working on as part of the project. So we have a moderately cohesive set of colors, really, between, oh wow, look at that shade. That's that reddish orange from Play It Jewel. Here we have the peachy shade from Miss Bliss. I was saying it was coral earlier. I think it is a coral, but in comparison to this much deeper, more red orange, I think it's pulling kind of peachy. Here is the Viseart pink. That swatch is looking really weak, but I know from experience that with the Viseart shimmers, the best way to apply them is over a glitter glue. Then you still don't get like extreme wet look shimmer, but you do get really nice level of color payoff. And then a matte purple, again from Viseart. So that is looking pretty. And then here is how I built out the rest of my palette. I decided I wanted to go for a spring into summer vibe, which I thought was perfectly suited to this May into the first week of June time period that I'll be working on these shades. So on this far end, we have a column of really light, super spring shades, pinks and purples. In the middle, we have a row of neutrals. We have I would call this like a champagne gold, but the kind of interesting champagne shade where you can really pull it cool or warm depending on what you pair it with. This Natasha Denona camel shade, and a reddish brown, pretty deep shimmer from the Lorac Fairy Tale Forest. And then on this side, we have the 2 more orangey matte shades that I pulled in during the randomized portion, as well as this greeny yellow that was in the palette last month. I didn't end up using this shade a whole lot. I used it once or twice as an inner corner highlight, but I think that especially with this deeper orange, that this will work out really well. So let me add in the swatches of these shades and we can take a look at the final result. So here is the set of shades that I will be working on this month. I tried to break this up into columns. So that really warm, bright column. We have my little pink purple column, as well as the neutrals. I'm additionally realizing that I forgot to introduce this really light rosy shade from Viseart. It's because it was also in the first part of this video. I just like this shade. I find it such an easy shade to pair with a wide variety of different looks that I decided to keep it in for another month because why not? So I think that this is going to be a really fun little color scheme to work with. I don't think that I've had a set of shades in a long time where I wasn't working on anything that was green or blue. So this is a little bit softer, a little bit more standard springtime colors. I think it'll be really fun to work with. I can see myself getting some really beautiful looks out of these shades. So there's my update for Pan Those Eyeshadows. If you are doing this project, I hope it's going really, really well for you. I would love to know how it's going in the comments below. Thank you so, so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoy this project or if you like project pans in general. I do quite a few of them. Thanks again, and I really hope I see you all next time. Bye!